Hello there. Today I watched the new sci-fi action film 57 Seconds and now I want to tell you about it. 57 Seconds follows a blogger named Franklin Fox as he sneaks into a conference held by tech billionaire Anton Burrell. During Burrell's presentation, Franklin stops an attempt on his life and in the aftermath finds a ring that has the ability to rewind time 57 seconds. The film stars Josh Hutcherson as Franklin Fox, Morgan Freeman as Anton Burrell, and Greg German as pharmaceutical CEO Sig Thorensen. The screenplay, written by Rusty Cundiff and Macon Blair, is based on a story by E.C. Tubb. 57 Seconds is a fairly average film that starts out with a decent premise and a good bit of mystery. It has a solid visual journey with generic instrumentals and a few original songs supporting it. It uses parts of its soundtrack well and relies on Josh Hutcherson, who does a good job of carrying the story. That said, it has its fair share of problems that hold it back. The writing has a few consistency problems, the general cast is filled with caricatures, visual journey doesn't have any standout moments, and the movie has a few dull spots in its runtime. To start off, let's go over the positives. The story starts with a cool premise: time travel. Yes, it's been done before, but this film gives itself an interesting twist. It puts a strict limit on the ring's power and limits the number of times it can be used in a row. This leads to a lot of quirky interactions with the ring and eventually to a deeply satisfying moment when the ring can't solve all of their problems. We get to watch as Franklin uses the ring in ways that most of us would. He uses it to have better relationships with the people around him, to act out his fantasies without repercussion, and to cheat at roulette and win big sums of money. Once he's gotten his fill of abusing his new power, he turns it on someone that he feels deserves it. Sig Thorensen, a pharmaceutical CEO who makes dangerous drugs with negative side effects and who doesn't care about the consequences. He uses his newfound power to worm his way into the CEO's inner circle and start looking for evidence of illegal activity. In the process, he finds himself being corrupted by the power of the ring, and he ends up risking everything good in his life in order to bring down Sig Thorensen. In the background of Franklin's story, we have the mysterious tech CEO Anton Burrell, who clearly knows what the ring is and who seems to be following Franklin's journey. The film does a good job of reminding us that he exists and having him show up at the perfect times to arouse suspicion. For mystery, we have Franklin's crusade against Sig and whether or not he'll pull things off, and on the other side of things we have Anton Burrell and trying to figure out what he wants and what he knows. The visual journey is fairly simple and easy to follow, and the film handles the time travel elements in a clear and interesting manner. The journey involves a lot of different sets and locations and a ton of background extras. We follow Franklin around a modern-day city as he manipulates the world around him using the ring. For the time travel portions, they used fixture points for the audience to take note of, which makes it easy to tell when the story has moved backward in the timeline. For example, they had extras who clearly stood out. They made them redo their movements over and over, while Hutcherson changed up his performance. We get to see him use the ring for a few different types of interactions, to save himself, to make money, and to win bets. Each involves him seeing the outcome and then resetting time in order to change his actions. Behind the journey is a somewhat generic soundtrack that tries to build out the atmosphere while matching the mood of the story. It uses simple background instrumentals during most of the film. These tracks tend to do a decent job of following the story, but they're just too generic to stand out. Where the film's soundtrack does stand out is with its use of the original songs during the time travel portions. They would have the song take part in the time loops that Franklin creates, and reversing through the song in accordance with the story made it easy to follow the time jumps. It also creates an interesting remix sort of effect that I thought was fun to listen to. The film is carried by Josh Hutcherson in the lead role. He plays a humble, somewhat nerdy hero who gets a taste of power and immediately finds it corrupting different parts of his personality. Hutcherson plays the emotional elements related to his character's backstory well, and I really enjoyed his performance at the end on the plane. The way he handled Franklin accepting his fate was especially moving. He's pretty funny during the comedic parts of the film and has decent chemistry with Lovie Simone, who plays the love interest of the story, Jala. Now that we've gone through the positives, I think we should quickly address the negatives. This story is filled with holes. There are problems relating to the ring, Franklin's use of it, the villains and their motivations, and how easy it was to find all of their secrets. The story also struggles a lot in the middle to maintain its momentum. There's a big section between Franklin figuring out the ring and him finally going all out on Sig that was just a bit slow and boring. Outside of Franklin, every other character is a generic stereotype. His girlfriend is the good girl who likes everything he does, the villain is a selfish prick with no morals, and the Burrell character is an enigma that never gets fully explained. The visual journey doesn't have any big standout moments in it. There are no crazy visuals where he rewinds time, the action is simplistic, and even the technology he uses doesn't look that special. It's just a ring that sparks a blinding light when it's touched. If you don't mind the flaws you've just heard, and the premise sounds interesting to you, go ahead and give it a chance. If not, you're not missing much by letting this one pass you by. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 5 out of 10. Remember though, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Bye bye!